Welcome back, YouTubers, to a Royal Rumble preview video of us, the British Fist.
Gotcha.
I am Mr. Parkin, robot voice today, NJ. And instead of the Terminator NJ, we have normal NJ today. Woohoo!
What's up?
Must admit, I'm starting to take a liking to Terminator NJ though. I like his catchphrases. Oh, that was serious. That was NJ. Subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on what you expect from the Royal Rumble pay-per-view down in that comment section below.
Or if you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Man, put that gun away, seriously. Honestly, because that is scary.
Oh yes.
Alright then.
Let's go
right onto this Royal Rumble predictions video then. General thoughts on the build going into Royal Rumble. And let's not forget, the Royal Rumble is the main selling point of this show as usual. You know, it's a Big Four pay-per-view. What are your thoughts going into this as we go into what is essentially the road to WrestleMania?
Okay, well, we've said this before. We made videos saying that we don't think the build's been great this year. It's just the last 2 weeks that we actually felt, yes, they're actually concentrating on it. Yes, some of the matches that we're going to go through, they have been having every week appearances, so they've done okay, but not as good as they should have done.
No, I mean, I'll say this right now. The card looks pretty good. We only have, what, 4 matches, but with the Royal Rumble lasting about an hour, maybe more than an hour, you kind of got to expect that Royal Rumble. And I will say this, though. The Raw feuds have generally been done pretty well. But on the other hand, the SmackDown feud, which is on this show, and really isn't been very good. SmackDown as a whole hasn't really been very good. And they've had 6 months, not 6 months, 6 weeks to build this after TLC. And they focused so much going on to the New Year's show that I really still feel that it kind of compromised the Royal Rumble a little bit. We've got some interesting stuff going into this Rumble. Most of it is on the card, but I'm not sure if the Rumble is really offering us much more outside of the box of the feuds that we have on the card at the moment. Like in the Royal Rumble, what feuds do we usually have? Like 5 or 6 feuds in that Rumble, which is going to continue on, but I don't really see too many in this Rumble.
Well, when we get to the Rumble in this thing, I have a few things to say, so tune up for that.
Okay, I really want to talk about the Rumble now, but anyway, we'll get on to the World Heavyweight Championship match. Daniel Bryan going in as the champion versus Big Show, and Mark Henry in a caged match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Ever since Daniel Bryan won that World Heavyweight Championship down at TLC, let's put it this way, NJ, the ratings have been quite high on SmackDown. He's had 2.2 now for the last couple of weeks, but it's not really interested us, has it, really?
With Daniel Bryan, again, it was going to happen eventually, as we all know, because he won Money in the Bank, and all Money in the Bank winners seem to win. With Daniel Bryan, when he became it, as we've said before, the booking weren't great. He didn't get us really behind him. And the last couple of weeks, yes, he's had his involvement. Yes, he's started to grow, but it's not been something that we could watch out for or get behind as much as we should do.
Yeah, well, it's mainly because he's a heel, but there we go. That's just WWE booking for you. I'll say this, though. Bryan has to retain here, surely, because if he doesn't retain, then Daniel Bryan's heel turn has been a joke and pointless. He has to retain in this match. Probably, I'd say, by climbing out of the cage or some cheaty way, or AJ Lee giving him a foreign object or something. I think the main question is here, with Mark Henry's injury on SmackDown, is he going to wrestle? What is actually going to happen with this match? Is this match actually going to happen? Do we know?
Well, the way I see this is that they've all had involvement, like the titles on SmackDown, and this now, we've had like Mark Henry and Big Show feuding, we've had Big Show and Daniel Bryan, Mark Henry and Daniel Bryan, so it's all been going on, they've all had some involvement. But the way I see it, it should be a Daniel Bryan win, even though the odds are against him because he's against the big guys. With the injuries as well, Dan said, it's kind of leaning towards Daniel Bryan having the upper hand.
It has to be Daniel Bryan, or else, like I said, his title reign has been a total joke, and I don't think even WWE would go that far. I still see him losing it at Elimination Chamber 3 weeks after, but at the same time, he needs to retain here to at least legitimise himself somewhat. Do you know what I mean?
Well, with it being one of the big pay-per-views of the year, giving Daniel Bryan the win would be a bonus for him, because then you could say he won at the Royal Rumble against 2 big guys. But yes, at the Elimination Chamber, there is a chance he's going to lose.
Yeah, well, big chance. 6 others in an Elimination Chamber. But anyway, so I'm thinking Daniel Bryan here.
Daniel Bryan.
Some kind of cheap way, I imagine, because he's a chicken shit heel. Don't care what you guys say. Next match, Cena versus Kane. This has actually been done pretty well, I think, in my opinion. Even though at times it's been very horror movie-ish. They have done a lot here. I mean, they've got the whole Kane return was very good. We went straight after Cena. We've had Cena embracing the hate. So in my opinion, this has actually been a pretty well-built match, which doesn't surprise me as it involves John Cena.
Well, with Kane coming back, and then obviously we thought he was going to have to Mark Henry for his return, but they're going to have to Cena, started a new feud there, got us interested in it, and over the past couple of weeks, Kane's been having the upper hand, so it's got us believing that he's having a good return, he's a monster again, and there's a chance that he can go on and beat Cena at the Rumble.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the Rumble, though, because it's Cena, and obviously they're trying to work on his newish, maybe possible character too, as well as Kane's return and his character, the match could come up to be a DQ Sonoma look weak.
Yeah, I feel the worst thing WWE could do here, in my opinion, is stick with this whole blubbergast face thing and have him win and say, "Oh, I've embraced the hate," and "Oh, I've overcome the hate," and everything. I think here, if they have a DQ finish, it continue the feud going into Elimination Chamber, because they will both be involved at Elimination Chamber, I feel, and they really need to start doing things to develop that Cena character. Maybe keep doing this whole embrace the hate thing. Like they've done in the past couple of Raws with the boos and Kane and all that kind of rider stuff getting to him. So I think a DQ finish based on the strength of the feud and what they've been doing to each other recently would be a result I'd be satisfied with, as long as they go at each other in a sort of brawly fashion for like 10 plus minutes.
Well, I'm going to agree that it should end with a DQ, but at the same time, I think, in my opinion, Kane deserves, if it was to be a winner, Kane deserves to win, because this feud should be about putting Kane over his return, making him a monster again. Then the month after Royal Rumble, build Cena up. But a DQ would be fair.
To be honest, I can see a DQ happening, but I can also see Cena, because the thing is, you got to remember is he's going to be the main event of WrestleMania. So WWE are going to put a lot of concentration on this guy, and it might come at the expense of Kane, for all we know, which would kind of ruin his character a little bit. But I hope for a DQ finish, and then for them to keep developing that John Cena character to at least make it somewhat interesting and not just a boring, stale face gimmick, which we've become accustomed to for the last, 5, 6, 7 years?
About that, but all I have to say is that this should be an interesting match because of the build it's had.
Another interesting match should be the WWE title match between Punk and Ziggler. This match was announced, 3 weeks ahead of time? So it's had a lot of build, and in my opinion, there's been a lot of concentration between Johnny Ace and CM Punk, and while I feel this hasn't been the best, while I feel this has took a lot of concentration off Ziggler, it has allowed Dolph Ziggler to be booked quite strong going into the pay-per-view. He's been on top many times over CM Punk. He's got 2 wins over CM Punk. So while CM Punk has been distracted with this whole John Laurinaitis character, it has allowed Dolph Ziggler to sort of take advantage. And we know these two can put on a great match, especially if given 20 plus minutes. So this match to me is generally quite interesting, just because of that whole Laurinaitis aspect added to it too.
Well, the way I look at this match is that with Laurinaitis there, Laurinaitis has a feud with Punk, so the concentration seems to be on them two. Ziggler had I think it was a title match against Punk, and then obviously thought he was the champ and that. So we've seen him have a good match against Punk, so it's all adding up to their match. But at the same time, I'm having a big feeling with Johnny Ace there and what we've seen on the past Raw and the Go-Home show. It's making me think maybe they'll make Ziggler just there just to have Punk on the card and Laurinaitis and Punk's feud continues.
It's probably a filler feud continuing on to WrestleMania or Elimination Chamber. Kind of like last year when they had Edge versus Ziggler. They had a great match, but it was essentially a filler feud. But it's still a feud that I have generally been quite interested in. I think they'll put on a good match. I can see none other than Punk winning, because if they put the belt on Ziggler, it's just way too soon for a guy like Ziggler, especially just after dropping the US strap at the TLC pay-per-view. So I think, in my opinion, CM Punk has to win by overcoming the whole Laurinaitis thing. Maybe Mick Foley will get involved, for all we know, because we've seen they're a team at the moment. So you never know. So this match has got me genuinely interested, because I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but I do feel Punk will win.
Well, with the stipulation with the special guest referee being on against Punk
and having his job analysed as well,
that's the other thing. It's making me think that maybe there's going to be a swerve and somehow Punk will retain, and as Ziggler thing, well, he'll probably eventually be put into a later match.
Yeah. Then we go on to the Rumble. This is the match, of course, we're looking forward to. It's a 30-man Royal Rumble this year. I prefer it as a 30-man Royal Rumble. Our picks, though, I mean, the Rumble itself is a strenuous event. Who are our... We have 4 picks. I mean, we've mentioned our picks in Q&As and Raw reviews and stuff, but...
Well, we start off with 2, because we feel that they deserved it more than the other wrestlers, and these two, if they win this, they'll get the push they need, and that is Barrett and Sheamus.
And I feel, to be honest with you, the Raw main event between Jericho and Punk may already be sorted, and they may not need the Rumble win for that. So to give it to a SmackDown guy, in my opinion, like Sheamus or a Barrett, an up-and-coming star, could be a very big defining victory for those, especially if they go into WrestleMania and win the belt. So Sheamus and Barrett were my 2 picks until We had the whole Orton injury thing going on SmackDown, which made me think they'll return Orton at the Rumble. They made him return on SmackDown, but I thought they'd return him at the Rumble and make him win because it's in his hometown. So that became a reason why I could pick Orton, because you could see why they're bringing back in his hometown and make him win it.
Well, with my opinions on Orton, again, I personally said before that I wouldn't mind if he missed the Rumble, but the WWE weren't going to do that. But with him winning, I think he should lose, because to be honest, then he can continue his feud with Barrett. Barrett ends up losing too. So I think Sheamus could have the upper hand here. There's also Jericho, we said, but that's just to get him in a feud with Punk. So that's the fan favourite to win. But again, I'm personally thinking Sheamus deserves it.
A lot of people are thinking Jericho is winning this. And I can't blame them, because in his promo he said, he was talking about the Rumble. He was talking more about the world is going to end as we know it or whatever. So I can see why people think that Jericho is going to win. And I wouldn't mind it too much. It's just that I feel at this point in time, in 2012, WWE need to start pushing those younger guys, and what better way to push a younger guy into that main event scene than with a Royal Rumble win? We saw it with people like Rey Mysterio, we saw it with people like Chris Benoit, giving them that real big defining Royal Rumble win.
So as we said, our 4 choices, the thing about these 4 choices, there's only one who hasn't won a big championship, Wade Barrett.
Yes.
So this could be a perfect chance, even though I would like to see him feud with Orton after the Rumble, he's still the one that hasn't had the championship, so could be him.
Yeah, and if and to be honest, they do still have their feud going on, so hopefully that feud will, if Orton doesn't win, or if Barrett does win, well, you never know. I think this feud could go on for until Elimination Chamber for all we know. So, I don't really know who to pick. It's very unpredictable. I've got 4 picks there. I'd love to see Sheamus or Barrett win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jericho won, personally.
Yeah, again, my personal pick would either be, as we said all along, Sheamus or Barrett, but it would make sense if Orton and Jericho win.
You could say Sheamus, because let's face it, he's not involved in a feud at the moment. He's been involved in filler for the last 2-3 months now, which is a real shame. And what great way to get his face heat back and get him in some kind of future WrestleMania defining match than have him win the Rumble. So maybe Sheamus could win this, because he's not involved in anything. So for him to win it would make perfect sense, really, to me personally.
Yeah, it would make sense. We've got 4 choices here who could have a lot to gain from it, but again, it comes down to the younger stars who need the win.
Yeah, so I hope this Rumble's good this year.
The thing about the Rumble is we complained about the hype, but the thing about the Rumble is that feuds could be made from the Rumble. Someone eliminates someone and they start a feud after that. Someone turns on someone, start a feud with that. So I think this Rumble could be a good start for the rest of the year.
Any surprise returns, do you feel? I feel Goldust could return and maybe eliminate Cody Rhodes and start their feud going into Elimination Chamber, possibly WrestleMania. Do you see any other surprises?
Again, there could be a whole load of wrestlers. There's Taker meant to be returning. There's Christian. There's Rey Mysterio. There's Sin Cara, Alberto Del Rio. There could be even surprises that we've made before. Maybe wrestlers that said they're not going to return anymore, but they will make a return.
Booker T.
Well, Booker T. There's Batista. I wish MVP, but no.
No.
There's loads of wrestlers that, again, are due to come back, and maybe they could benefit from the Rumble.
And just like last year, we were guessing on who was going to return. We were thinking Triple H. We got Booker T and Diesel as well, which both got good pops. So let's hope we do get some good returns, because let's face it, this is an unpredictable event, which is why it's so exciting. So hopefully, I do hope Royal Rumble's good this year, because I really, really think that they need to start upping their game going into the WrestleMania, Road to WrestleMania period, especially lately when their product has not been as good as it really should be.
Well, the thing I say about pay-per-views is they only need one surprise. I hope that one surprise makes this Rumble better than what we thought it would.
Yes, same here. Is that what you got to say about the Rumble?
Oh, yes.
We've gone on for a bit longer than we thought, but then again, make sure you get your thoughts down below on who you think is going to win the matches of the Rumble. Who do you think is going to win the Rumble? Give us your predictions on this pay-per-view, what you feel the hype has been, etc. And NJ, now you put your Cobra away. Do the outro.
Well, people, that has been it from the British Fist, which is Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. Tune in for the Rumble. Tune in for our review after the Rumble. Until next time, people, goodbye.